Hi, this is Scotty with Scotty of All Trades, and welcome to the grout transformation. We had an old wall with old grout that was black, made everything look dark and dungeony. We freshened up our wall with a nice white, bright grout, and I'm going to show you some of my methods and tricks how to get that done. Okay, here's the before. We got an old dated brick with dark grout. Now materials for this project were the Pro Grade disposable grout bags, a mixer for my drill, various putty knives, paint mixing stick. For cleanup, the scrub brush and sponges, I found the 9mm gloves work best for the project as they're more durable, and the VersaBond White Blanco thin set mortar. Proper breathing protection for this application is an N95 respirator. You want to use this with any kind of grout or cement dust. Now in a 5-quart bucket, I'm going to add about 1.5 quarts of dry thin set mortar. I have 1 quart of water that I'm going to add slowly until I can reach a thick frosting consistency. Using my paint mixer and drill, I'm going to make sure it's all completely mixed and there's no more dry chunks inside there. And be careful when you're mixing with a drill. If you've got rubber gloves, they can get twisted and caught on anything that's spinning, so be very careful of that. Now once your thin set is mixed, I found it really helpful to put the empty bag into a boot to keep it upright while I fill it. Definitely keeps it from flopping over, and it was a great help. Now that you got your bag filled with grout, you're going to want to remove as much excess air as possible. Just kind of squeeze it out. Then grab it from the top and you're going to start spinning it to shut it. And once you got that all spun and tight, you're locked and loaded, ready to go. Now my pre-application prep consisted of some plastic and some cardboard on the floor to protect it. I put some tape on the left hand and the right hand sides of the walls between the paint and the brick. And I grabbed a drop cloth and put that over the hearth to make sure that that didn't get messed up as well. Okay, to explain a little bit of the technique that I've got going on here. Some gaps are a little wider, so it might be easier just to fill kind of one side to about halfway in depth, then you kind of get the other side. And then you're always going to have a little bit of, you can be thinner on the exit, because when you wipe it, it's going to kind of build up there. So you're definitely going to want to build that to about halfway in depth. And there's a nice thinner crack here, or joint in between it. That can fill almost the whole thing. So it's good to get a bunch of piping done, but not too much where it starts to dry. Okay, the technique that I use for basically getting everything filled in, I've got a nice microfiber, it's wet. You're gonna use your finger. I'll start over here, and it's like you're trying to seal the top and the bottom with your finger, but still have it deep enough to where it's gonna touch the mastic. And I'm hoping I can get it to touch, the top I see right there, there's just too much, so I'm gonna kind of let it go and dig and kind of push it in, pushing real slowly. And then once I get, you can kind of feel it smooshing under your finger. I'm not building too much. And then here it's really thin, so I'm going to kind of get the tip of my finger, angle it a little bit more. But now it's starting to get too much on the sides. I can wipe the sides of my finger, but still keeps them on the tip. I can come back here, get it back in there. Might have to do a couple passes to get it through, and that looks really good there. Missing a little bit right here, but that's okay. I can just go there. Here you just go real lightly where you like the consistency. There's no air bubbles. Here I'm going to push up a little bit underneath, and right there I've got a couple air bubbles. I'm just going to kind of paint that in. And sometimes it actually works better once you go one way, come all the way back. I'm just going real slow until I get to the end. Push that in and feather it. And then I'm just going to take everything off my finger and then go the opposite way. So here I'm going to pick up a little bit and start pushing it up into this crack. Whoop. As I let go and went back to the left, I pulled a big bit off. It had an air bubble, so now This is spreading really well. Nice and smooth all the way. Now the grout on top of the hearth doesn't have much relief, so you're just kind of painting it on with your finger. There's not much of a depression to smooth it into, so just do your best to kind of cover the black or the dark grout as best you can. Okay, here's about 3/4 done, and you can see progress going pretty good. Some of the lessons I learned were, if you do it right away, it's gonna be whipped creamy and it'll smear easier. You might get some on the edges here. You can come back and peel a little bit of that off. You might be able to get a brush and break some of the larger chunks up with a metal brush. But if you let your mastic kind of harden up too long, usually like an hour or two later, it'll get really thick. And then when that happens, you can put a thick piece in there and then smear it, and it'll smooth further into the crack, and it won't come out to the edge as easily, and you can get maybe a cleaner line. But that was just one of the little things I noticed. Also, on larger areas where it's really thick, if you put a thick piece in, you'll get these little cracks. Hard to see right there, but yeah, you'll get little cracks like that, and that will just be the nature of how it works. So when it dries, cracks, fully dries, you can just take a little bit and go over that and cover that up if that bothers you. Okay, this is really important. Once you get to the very bottom, you want to go ahead and have a loose consistency, like whipped cream frosting. Get it in there, and then once it's still wet, you want to make sure you take your tape off at that point, so you get a nice clean line. So again, don't be afraid to hit the tape, but get it off right away, and you're going to go through and peel it up, and that's going to give you your nice straight line right there on the very bottom. Well, the project is all finished. It turned out great. I love the transformation of dark dingy grout to nice bright white. So if you enjoyed watching this project, please let me know in the comments below. Stay tuned for more videos in the future. And again, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.